Hello everyone, welcome back to my zodiac sign series, where I try to figure out how the zodiac signs would dress themselves. And the last one I made was about Libra, the natural beauty of the zodiac, and today we're moving into more rebellious territory. It's time to explore the world of the eccentric and unconventional Aquarius. And I must give a disclaimer that this is solely based on my own assumptions and interpretation, and that the outfits are also based on my own style. So if you have an Aquarius Sun, Venus, Mars, or Rising, or your ruling planet is an Aquarius, feel free to tell me if you relate to any of the concepts I will be talking about. And I'll be taking some stereotypes and concepts of the zodiac sign and try to figure out how they can influence personal style and preferences. And if you aren't into astrology at all, you can still look at this video as inspiration based on a certain archetype, and I would call this archetype organized chaos. And that is because Aquarius is ruled by Uranus and Saturn, and these two planets couldn't be more different, and yet they work together to influence Aquarius style. Uranus, the planet of rebellion and innovation, brings the unique experimental side of Aquarius. Think about unexpected cuts and fabrics or silhouettes that aren't really usual. And meanwhile, Saturn, the planet of structure and discipline, adds a more grounded edge. And some Aquarians lean more into their Saturn influence, favoring clean lines, tailored pieces, and structured looks, and others fully embrace Uranus energy with outfits that are bold, unconventional, and unmistakably them. But let's start with the colors, specifically the futuristic and sleek tones of white, silver, and metallics, because these shades perfectly embody the cool and innovative energy of Aquarius. White symbolizes clarity and a sense of detachment, which Aquarius can have, and silver and metallics represent the forward-thinking, almost otherworldly vibe that Uranus brings to the table. So for the first look, I went for the clean lines and maybe more for the Saturn feel of Aquarius. So the shapes are very basic, like it's just a t-shirt and trousers, but there is something different about it. The t-shirt is slightly oversized, the heels are very pointy, the bag is also modern, so I don't think Aquarius looks good in a lot of classic pieces. Lace or something like that isn't really for them unless they style it in a way that isn't usual. And then I also think that accessories are key here. So adding a pair of sunglasses that makes them a little bit detached, because they sometimes want to be a little bit more hidden. They don't always come off as very friendly, but they can be, of course. But sometimes they look very detached, or they just want to walk around in a crowd and don't really be noticed, so they will wear sunglasses and have a little bit of an alien vibe, an alien look, something that isn't of this world. And I also think that's the reason why they don't look good in trends or wear something that everyone wears. It's not that they are out of touch, it's that trends, by their very nature, are about mass appeal, and to an Aquarius, following a trend feels like blending in with the crowd, which is not something that they are focused on, and instead they are drawn to creating something new, finding ways to push boundaries and make statements in ways that are unique to them. And when I make a video like this, I always follow up with the opposite sign. So the opposite sign of Aquarius is Leo, and I think Leos look fantastic in trends, and when they follow trends, they can embody the moment, where Aquarius will embody the future. So in this look, I think the glasses look a little bit futuristic. The coat is very basic, but it is very oversized, and I think that gives it its edge. And then the colors were very basic, so I added this color that I think is also perfect for Aquarius, because it is a very cool toned color. It's very icy, it's not a warm color. So when I think about Leos, I think about the sun, about gold tones and summer and warmth. And when I think about Aquarius, I think about winter and their cool, detached nature. They're often seen as the aloof intellectuals of the zodiac. They are more focused on their ideas and visions for the future than on emotional entanglements. And this coldness isn't a lack of emotions, but they do have a tendency to rationalize emotions. So Aquarians don't dress to express emotions or warmth, they dress to express concepts, philosophies, and their own individuality. And a piece that embodies this energy is this white shirt with sharp geometric edges from Anne de Meulemeester. And the exaggerated color and long flowing sleeves create a striking silhouette, but there is also a sense of restraint in the simplicity of the color and fabric. So I think the brilliance of this piece lies in the balance between sharpness and flow. The precise angular details of the color and fit reflect more of the Saturnian discipline of Aquarius, and then the fluidity of the long sleeves bring the Uranus touch of innovation and creativity. And it's a look that feels modern and timeless to me, but also a little bit detached and intriguing. And then I added the same accessories because I think that's a key for Aquarius, to have some basic accessories that are a little bit more special, a little bit more sleek, a little bit more modern, that you can wear over and over again, because they aren't really into trends or they don't look good in trends. I feel like they have to have some staples, something that you can recognize them by. The following concept I want to talk about is layering, or what I like to call the organized chaos. And Aquarians have a knack of making an outfit seem effortlessly thrown together, but are actually deeply intentional. It's a balance between very slouchy and structured, chaotic yet cohesive. And Aquarius doesn't play by the usual fashion rules. Forget the predictable combinations of a sweater over a shirt or a coat over a blazer. For Aquarius, layering is an art form, a way to create dimension, intrigue, and an effortlessly chic, chaotic, yet cohesive look. And this approach to layer isn't just about warmth or practicality, it's about self-expression and innovation. Think of it as layering with a twist. Instead of following traditional proportions, Aquarians might pair a cropped jacket over a long flowing shirt, or layer two button-ups of different colors and fabrics on top of each other. And they love to create unexpected contrasts, structured over slouchy, oversized with fitted, or even mixing textures like leather with silk or denim with organza. And I also recently made a video about wearing skirts over trousers, and I think that is a perfect look for an Aquarius, but if everyone is going to do it, I feel like they will be less interested, because then it will not represent a certain ID or a certain identity. And that's also why Aquarius can have this artsy look or the art student vibe. Much like their fellow air sign Gemini, they love experimenting with unique looks that showcase their creativity and their intellectual side. However, Gemini style is driven by duality and a love for exploring all sides of their personality, and Aquarius' artsy style has a more fixed, intentional quality. Aquarius isn't interested in trying out every aesthetic under the sun like Gemini might. Instead, they find a niche that resonates with their individuality and stick to it, and sometimes to a fault. Their fixed nature means they have a strong sense of what they like, which makes their style cohesive and recognizable. However, it also means they need to be mindful not to fall into a rigid archetype where their creativity becomes predictable. And I think that's where the contradictory part of the sign comes in. They might get stuck on the very archetype they've created for themselves, while Aquarius prides itself on being unconventional and forward-thinking. Their fixed nature can sometimes trap them in a repetitive cycle. They love innovation, but can become so attached to their unique aesthetic that it stops evolving, turning into a rigid version of their original vision. And this tension between their Uranus desire for innovation and their Saturnian inclination to stick with what works is part of what makes Aquarius so fascinating. When they strike the right balance, their style remains dynamic, bold, and endlessly captivating. So I wanted to wrap things up with a look that's a little bit out of my own comfort zone as well, but feels undeniably Aquarian. And I like to call this the confused professor vibe that Aquarians can have, and it's a mix of intellect, chaos, and effortless style that somehow works. And for this look, I paired an oversized structured coat with my white joggers. The coat adds that sense of Saturnian structure I've been talking on and on about, while the joggers bring in a more relaxed Uranian touch. And I think here I'm going to end with a little bit of a confession. If you have been following this series from the beginning, you know that I have started with Capricorn because I thought I was a Capricorn rising at that time. But a couple of months ago, I actually asked for my birth data because I always just asked my mom and went from there. But I have been born 2 hours later than I thought, and I'm actually an Aquarius rising. So that was a little bit of a shock because I did really identify myself as a Capricorn rising, but I still have a Capricorn moon and some other planets there, so it makes sense that I identified with Capricorn. But I'm also really glad that I finally found out my actual birth data because I also identify as an Aquarius rising, and there are some elements of my personality that I'm a little bit more aware of now. So if you don't know your rising sign or your moon and so on, I highly recommend checking your birth data and finding out. And let me know what kind of star signs you have and if you have any Aquarius in your chart and if you relate it to any of the concepts I have been talking about. And I'll hope to see you soon. Thank you so much for watching.